So, back up to 15 years ago, my dad and I are driving to the airport. My mom is driving us to the airport. We're going to take a trip. I think it was a PM conference that we're going to. And at this point in time, we're telling my mom, hey, Mom, if something happens to us, because we're on the same flight, here's where the passwords are stored. And call this person because they need to write some checks. And do this, and we're kind of half serious, half joking. But all of a sudden, it kind of dawned on us, like, if something does happen to us, the company's in trouble. Like, we had it all up here. I had it up here. I was sharp. My dad had it up there. He was sharp. But it was only up here. And we thought, if something happens up here, or what if we just want to take a Friday off? What if I don't want to come in tomorrow? Couldn't happen. So we thought, we need to get everything out of here onto something. We need to somehow spew it out of here and document the process because we think that'd be easier for us. And so we stepped into this concept of let's start just getting everything out of our head, and maybe the next time we hire somebody, we start writing some processes down. And that was kind of the genesis of systems and what we refer to today as position-specific, that's important, position-specific system manuals. So everybody in our office has a position-specific system manual. I have a president system manual. Tells me what to do with my role of president. I'm pretty sure my brother wants my job because he's always sneaking around for that president position. So if I die, if my plane goes down and I don't make it back tomorrow, my dirty little sneaky brother will be president. He probably has something to do with the plane going down as well. So please check on that if we do it. Here's what I'm going to talk about for the next hour. Number one, we're going to talk about what is a system, because a system means different things to different people. Number two, why you need it. I'm going to try to convince you why you need one. Number three, how to create it, then how to implement it and how to improve it. Simple enough? I would like, my request is let's keep this somewhat conversational. So if I say something you don't understand, you disagree with, please just raise your hand and let's take the time to do that. Fair enough? And I know it's after lunch, guys. We're talking about systems at 1:45. This is hard. I get it. So stay with me. If you think it's hard to listen to me, you should see how hard it is to talk to all of you. Okay? So here we go. The foundation of a system is this. Variation, evil. Variation's evil. That's a little bit extreme, isn't it? But from a business standpoint, guys, that's true. Do we want variation in our PM's businesses? Variation will kill our businesses. If you don't buy into this statement, then save yourself the next hour and just leave the room and go check your emails. Because I hate variation. I hate it in the business. I want every client who comes through the door as a prospective applicant to be treated the same and to walk through the same leasing process every time, no matter if they're dealing with Pam, who's one of our leasing people, or Christina, who's a leasing person, or if they happen to get somebody random on the phone. It's got to be the same every time. Because to the degree we're not consistent, it kills our business. It's a danger in so many ways. So we're trying to create some consistency. That's the foundation of everything we're talking about. Now, what is a system? Because again, systems means different things to different people. So let's step outside of our industry, forget your property manager for a moment, and let's pretend we're training to go to work here. Has anybody ever worked at McDonald's? None of you? Oh, you spoiled rich people. One. Only Richard. If we were training for McDonald's and we were going to be higher end McDonald's like managers, we would go to what's called McDonald's University. They train people on how to work at McDonald's. Why? Because they believe in consistency. How can McDonald's take a 16-year-old kid off the street, train him well enough to have this repetitive process to do it over and over and over again, that no matter what McDonald's you go in, whether it's in Denver, Colorado, or whether it's in Atlanta, Georgia, or you can even fly across the world and visit McDonald's, and the process, even the product, is going to be relatively the same. Would anybody say the success of McDonald's is because of the quality of their food? Anybody? No, I've never had anyone raise their hand to that one. Never. But why do they keep succeeding? It's a consistent process, isn't it? This morning I went to the Starbucks over here and I got myself a cup of coffee and the little yogurt thing with the granola on top and the berries inside. It tasted exactly like the granola with the yogurt inside. It looked exactly the same like the one I get in Loveland, Colorado sometimes. How could that be? Did they call ahead and tell them what I wanted? No, that's their process. That's their system. They do it every time. McDonald's gets this, and that's the hallmark of success. Now, you're maybe thinking, oh, Mark, they make hamburgers, Mark. I'm running a PM company here, buddy. That's easy compared to what we do. And it is. So let's look at a different industry. What about the airlines? I fly Southwest an awful lot. Man, Southwest is a great airline to fly. And Herb Keller just recently passed away. He was the ex-CEO. In an interview, they said, what's the key to success for Southwest? And everybody thought he was going to say friendly customer service, because that's what they're known for, aren't they? But he didn't say that. He said it's our systems. Our systems are smooth. Back in the mid-'80s, when we were just starting off, he said we had a problem. We had a big problem because we only had 2 planes and we had 3 routes. We didn't know what to do. So we decided to systematize the turnaround process. When a plane lands, you get everybody off, you get everybody else back on. We decided to take that process down to 10 minutes. 10 minutes, guys. And they did it. I can't even fathom that. Blows my mind. But the systems they have in place to run an airline, all the way from checking in, getting your bags, to the pilot having a pre-flight checklist, all systematized. And it works for their business. If it works for the airlines, I'm guessing it can work for us. Our business are a little bit less complex than even that. And you have a system right now, and this is it. Your system is the way you do it. So that means when you tell your front desk person, hey, office opens at 9 a.m. I want you here at 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., unlock the door. And they do that, that's part of your system. When somebody comes into your office and they try to pay rent with cash, and you say, oh, whoa, I'm sorry, we don't take cash. We only take cashier's checks or whatever. That's your system. Now, it may only be in your head right now, but you have your system. What we want to do is get it out of our heads and document it into a process so then we can improve it from there. A couple other ways to think of systems are like this. Documented routine, right? We want to take the routine we do over and over and over, the boringness of property management, and document it. It's a playbook for success, or a roadmap for success in your business. I was visiting, I was with my 2 boys, and we were at some mall store, and it was a toy store. We went in the Lego store. And in the Lego store, they had this giant Lego ship of Pirates of the Caribbean. Have you seen that movie? Right? And the Captain Jack Sparrow boat. Massive, giant Lego ship. And you could lift up the front, and it had cannons that would shoot, and sharks. And it was, like, my kids were like, Dad, we want that. Oh, look at that. It was just glorious. I was like, guys, it's $200. Legos makes a lot of money. Crazy. And they were like, well, Dad, we saved up some money. Can we buy it? We want to make this. Well, it's your money. You guys want to spend it? I thought, you know what? This will pull them away from Fortnite for at least a few days. So yes, buy the Legos, guys. Please buy the Legos. Dad will even pay half. So we buy the Legos. We get home, and they want to build a Lego set. That's my 2 boys with their Lego set. Now, yeah, they're adorable. They get that from their dad. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see this box. This is when we get home. They're excited. Now, the box, see that in the left-hand corner there? Can anybody read how many pieces are in there? That's 2,294 pieces. They put it on the box in small print so that dads won't see it, because if you see it, you're not going to buy it. That's not 200 pieces. That's not 500 pieces. 2,294 pieces. So my kids get home, they open it up, and they dump these Legos everywhere. And my youngest son's like, Dad, he's in his mind, he's thinking of the big boat. Right? He's like, huh? He didn't even, couldn't even, yeah, we don't know how to do this. You got to help us build this. I was like, no, Dad's not helping you guys build this. You guys are on your own. Then how are we supposed to build this giant boat? I was like, well, I don't know, guys. Let's look around. And so I reached into the box, and I pulled out this. I brought it with me. This is the Lego instruction manual for how to build that ship. Now, do you see how thick this is? This is 261 pages. It has 445 steps. 445 steps to build that. And I said, guys, here, follow this. I'm like, Dad, what are you talking about? It's an instruction manual. It's a system manual. And guess what? In about 6 hours, they built this thing because they followed this. Because this gave them a step. You know what step 1 is in this book? Open the box. You know what step 2 is? Dump the Legos out. I can follow that. Anybody can follow that. Guys, if you need this many steps in this type of a system to build a silly Lego thing, if you're running your business without a system and you're succeeding, it's by pure luck and hard work and grit. Because we need processes. We need systems. We have to have them to this level of specificity on here's what time you show up. Here's how you answer the phone. Here's how you show a property. Here's how you process an application. Here's how you sign a lease. We've got to document it to this degree in order to make our businesses work. This is a page right out of our system manual. And we have kind of an introductory page. This is the concept of the system manual. I think, see if this resonates with you a little bit. So this is as we're explaining a system manual to our team members, right? So I just hired you as a new team member, and I gave you a system manual. And I'm trying to explain to you what your job is going to be. And this is what page 1 of our system manual says, because it's explaining it. The system shall run the business, and the team members shall run the system. All right, I got to interrupt myself right there because that's just good. Somebody should say amen or something to that. Listen to that. The system runs the business, and the team members run the system. Thank you. Thank you. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. We should get more amens in here, right? Isn't that good? That's pretty good stuff. I mean, that's the concept. We don't need to run the business. I don't run the business. My team members don't run the business. The system runs the business. And team members just have to plug in and run the system. Systems are simply roadmaps or instructions that allow the grace management process to be repeated and easily duplicated. Property management done on a large scale is an extremely complex business with many moving parts. In order for grace management to be successful, it must be consistent. The purpose of the system manual is to provide a consistent and specific way of doing business and to ensure that each property, resident, owner, and as much as possible each situation is treated the same. Also to define how grace management will do property management. That's the concept. Does that resonate just a little bit? Guys, make me feel good and just say, yeah, please, thank you. Tough crowd in Atlanta. Okay, so what does the finished product look like? This is our property manager system manual right here. This is our, not terribly thick. We've got one of these for everybody. We've got 11 positions in our company, so we've got 11 different position-specific system manuals. This is like our Lego, think Legos. Right? I'm a simple person, think Legos. This is our Lego instruction manual to what it looks like. Now, yes, it lives online, but I'm also a big believer in the old paper version because that, from a training process, that works well. So let me take a half step backwards, and we'll get to how to create this in just a second, but let me convince you why. Let me give you a dozen rough reasons why I think you need a system. Number one, stops the revolving door to your office. Have you ever had a repetitive question from an employee that you're like, you idiot? You don't say that, hopefully. Don't you remember I told you that? Or this is the fourth time you've asked me that? Has anybody ever had that, or is it just me? Okay, because when you tell an employee something, guys, you talk too much. We all talk too much. They don't remember that stuff. They don't remember when you tell them. Now, if it's written down and documented, now that's different. Now they can go to that. So it stops that revolving door of your office of, hey, boss, you got a minute? Ugh, I hate that. Number two, improves employee training. We've hired a lot of folks recently, and our training process is just night and day compared to what it used to be because the entire process centers around going through the system manual, line by line by line by line. That is the training process. I don't need to sit down with them and say, okay, well, first you do this, and then you do that, and are you writing this down? Because you need to write all this down. And then, oh, no, wait, I forgot about that step between those two. That's a terrible training process. That's how a lot of us do it. We go out of memory, and we expect them to be successful. Won't work. Number three, reduces liability. If the worst thing happens, and let's say your leasing person has a fair housing issue, right? And they discriminated. They just blew it. And HUD comes knocking on your door. Anybody had HUD come knocking on? Oh, you don't want to raise your hand. Yeah, okay. HUD comes knocking on your door. If you as the PM, if I can say as the PM, hey, HUD, investigator person, I realize that my person blew it, right? They did whatever. But you know what? I've got a director of leasing system manual, and we train on how to do this stuff. Like, they didn't follow our documented processes. Now, that will not totally release me from liability, but it will reduce the liability greatly. Because I can show, look, they acted rogue. This is what we do. This is how we process applications. And the fact that they didn't follow it, I'm sorry, it reduces that liability. Number four, increases company value. We've bought a number of competitors the last couple of years, and when we buy them, we buy their book of business. And a book of business, an account, isn't worth a lot because they could leave. Right? They're just not. I didn't pay a premium for any of these businesses. Now, if you came to us, you said, Mark, I've always wanted to live in Colorado. I love the idea of free marijuana. I think I want to move out there. How much for grace management? You will pay a premium to buy our company because we have systems. If we lose an account, no problem. We can replicate it. If we lose an employee, no problem. We can replicate them. Systems increase the value of your company like nothing else will do. Number five, sets expectations for employees. Any one of these I could talk on for 20 minutes. This is what creates the idea of, hey, employee, here's what you do, and here's how you do it. This is what I expect of you. Because unmet and unrealized expectations between you as the boss and your employee as a team member lead to disaster. Number six, get you in compliance with a policy and procedure manual. This is not a policy and procedure manual, practically speaking. Definitionally and legally, it is. So when the Real Estate Commission used to come in to audit us, and in Colorado we had to have a P&P manual, they'd say, hey, where's your P&P manual? I'd say, just one moment. We'd go back into the stockroom. I'd be digging frantically. And I'd find, here it is, right here. And they'd check the box. Got it, right? That's a goofy P&P manual. Now, this can be that, but it gets you compliance with that. Number 7, creates a storage location for all your templates. We put into the system manual all the templates, everything from big templates like your lease agreement, your management agreement. But have you ever had a great email response to an upset owner client who thinks you overcharged for maintenance? And you're like, oh, that's good. I need to hold on to that. Well, how are you going to hold on to it? You document it. You create a template for it and pop it into your system manual, and it lives there. So the next time that next owner gets upset and emails a PM, your PM knows because their system manual tells them if the owner has an upset question on maintenance, refer to template 3A, and they copy and paste and email it to them. Lets you feel okay with delegating and giving up control. Please raise your hand, and you have to participate. Raise your hand if you're a control freak. Ooh, that's a lot of us. That's a lot of us. And I'm right there, right? I am a control freak. I don't like not knowing what's going on in my office. And to this day, it's just hard for me. But I can do it because I know my team's running the system back there. I'm okay with delegating. I'm okay with giving up control a little bit more. Number 9, makes everyone replaceable. Now, this doesn't mean we don't value our employees, right? I love my team. We treat them well. We pay them well. We don't have a lot of turnover. We're big on employees and team members. But I also realize that at some point in time, every one of them will leave. They will. They're going to have a baby. They're going to move away. They're going to get married. They're going to do whatever they do, and they're going to leave. And when that happens, the business has to keep going. We lost our leasing person 6 months ago, Lindsay, and Lindsay was awesome. Lindsay was a rock star. But she came into my office one day and she was like, she was young. She was 25, single. Her and her boyfriend, she's like, you know what? My boyfriend and I, we're just kind of bored. We're going to move across the country. We're moving to the East Coast. I was like, oh, why? Like, well, I like it here, but I'm young. We're going to give it a shot. I hated to lose Lindsay. She was amazing, but it didn't kill the company. Why? Because all she was doing is following the system. Now I just have to go find someone else to replace the system. It also helps you replace, though, your crazy employees. Think of the crazy employee in your office. Think about them, picture them in your head. And by the way, because every company has a crazy person. If no one comes into your head right now when I told you to think about the crazy person, guess what? It's you. It's you. You're the one. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Number 10, creates a consistency of outcome. Right? It's going to make the process, if they run it, the same every time. Number 11, makes the business scalable. This is what has allowed us to grow. We just had a person who was kind of overloaded on work, and we have been growing a fair amount. They said, I can't do it anymore. I need help. So creating a new role was as simple as opening the document for their system, copying and pasting half of it out, and creating a new role. That's it. It's very scalable. It makes the business very, very scalable. Number 12, it prioritizes the tasks and work to be done. You want your team members working on what's important to you. And unless you tell them what is important to you and they understand their defined role, they're not going to know what to do. Have you ever had someone, like, in an attempt to be helpful, do something that you're like, why are you doing that? I wanted you to do this. Well, I just thought I would do this. That's not what you're here to do. I want you to do this. Does that happen to anybody? Just me. Okay. Takes you from reactive to proactive. We don't want to be reactive. We want to be a proactive business as much as possible. And number 14, it simplifies the execution of every task. If we can break down these complicated tasks into little bite-sized pieces, think Legos, then we can make it work. We can train anybody. We can train a 16-year-old kid off the street to be our director of leasing. Why? Because they're just going to follow the steps. Do this, do this, do that. And lastly, it sustains the business beyond you.